Alright guys, how you doing? And welcome finally to my top 10 list of the 2017 GTA 5 DLC cars. Now, a lot of you have been requesting this. I do apologise that it actually has taken so long to do, but with work and everything, I had to find time, and this is the only time that I've got really for it. But anyway, we're going to head straight right into it at number 10 with the Strom. I think it's the Stromberg, that's how you pronounce it. And that is basically the James Bond Lotus Esprit, a very cool car. And I actually made a wish list, I think, for DLC in 2015 for this car to come in, and almost 2 years later it is finally here. Such a cool thing. Obviously you get like the rockets in the front, you get the machine guns, and the best feature of the lot, you get to go underwater in this, which is freaking amazing. So I would love to see some more amphibious cars and more submarine based cars. That'd be mental, but obviously this is like the most famous one out there. But anywho, moving on to number 9, and we've got the Albany Hermes, which is essentially like a Hudson Hornet slash the Holden Effigy concept. I love that name, the Effigy. But this thing, I'd done a video on it a couple weeks back, and it is an amazing cruiser. It looks like nothing else out there in GTA Online or GTA 5. Proper old school classic car. The interior as well is just pure 50s. It's an overall 50s car. This I believe returns from Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and I'm not too sure if it was in San Andreas, but I'm sure I've seen something like it in San Andreas. It's a really awesome looking machine, and if you are one of them sorts of guys or girls that likes to just cruise around in like an old classic car, then I would definitely have this at the top of your list because it is freaking amazing. Now on to number 8, we have got the Mack Sentinel Classic. Finally a classic BMW M3 in this game. Now the one that we do need still is the E46 over from GTA 4. Then we could kind of complete the lineup. Well, we need the new M3s and stuff like that. That would be awesome. But imagine car meets and stuff. BMW guys will go absolutely off their nut, won't they? I mean, that's quite a good question, guys. Like, what actual M3 do you prefer? Do you prefer like the Sentinel Classic, or should I make that more specific? What type of GTA M3 do you like? The classic one, the GTA 4 one, or the E92 version that we get in GTA 5? I probably have to say I'm going to go for GTA 4 because E46. So good. But anyway, I definitely recommend you guys checking this out because it's kind of a one-of-a-kind car in GTA Online right now. It's like an old German sort of like two-door coupe. The Volker, I don't know. The Volker is a four-door obviously, but it does kind of remind me of like a Volvo and a Nissan Skyline 2000 GTR. So yeah, it's kind of like on its own out there for the Sentinel Classic. So that was my number 8. Then moving on to number 7, we have got the Coil Cyclone, aka the Rimac Concept 1 slash the Koenigsegg Agera. Now a lot of you guys liked this when I done the video on it. I have to say, probably one of the most standout cars of this year. I mean, when I looked at it and stuff like that, I thought, oh, this is gonna be great, and it just happened to come into the game after Richard Tammond crashed the Rimac in real life. So there was a little bit of anticipation to see what the car was going to be like in the game, and it did not disappoint. The acceleration, obviously, is an electric car and it's part of the Coil family, so you can expect it to be absolutely ballistic, which it is. But probably my favourite thing about the car is just the looks overall, and the interior as well is very nice, especially in the white colour that I put in. It just pops. So it's a wee bit expensive in the game, but I definitely say it is worth the money if you like your electric supercars. So sticking with the supercar theme, at number 6 is the Mack SC1. Now this is based on the BMW M1 concept that's been floating around the internet for a few years now. If you've seen it, it's the bright orange one. Very cool looking vehicle. Now obviously this kind of combines a little bit of the i8 as well around the rear, and especially what I've done to it with the blue and the matte sort of highlights to it, it just stands out very well. I'd have to say this is probably one of my favourite looking cars to come into GTA in 2017. And in terms of the noise, it sounds amazing. It actually sounds like a V10 in the game, like a Guard or a Huracan or anything. but the driving experience is really cool as well. I believe it is all-wheel drive, and it just grips and grips and grips. Now, you can rip the e-brake or the handbrake, and you can get it sideways surprisingly well for a four-wheel drive car. Now, the R8 in the game, or the 9F, is quite notorious for sliding about as well. That's what this car reminds me of. It reminds me of the 9F, I should say. It's just one of them sort of cool looking cars which you can just pose in, if you know what I mean. You can just slide in everything if you want to, which is just great. So if you're in the market for a supercar, definitely recommend the Mack SC1. Now, going back in time a little bit here to the Pegassi Infernus Classic at number 5. Now, who doesn't like an old Lamborghini? This is obviously based on the Lambo Diablo, and I have to say, I kind of prefer this version over the GTA 5 Infernus or the GTA 4, because I just love the rear end on this thing. I mean, it looks good from almost any angle, but the front and the rear are probably the best on this. Now, I had to go full blacked out for this because I've seen the Diablo GTR in real life, and goddamn, it looks very good, but I didn't really want to put any massive wings on it or anything like that, so I've just went for this sort of subtle wing, as I'm sure you would have seen in the build. But yeah, I think it was yellow in the build that I done, but I've changed it to black because I think it suits black a little bit better, a bit more stealthy. We obviously get like the interior, like the 80s interior, which is so cool, or should I say 90s, because I think the Diablo was out in the 90s. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but it's a really cool supercar, and I'm glad they actually brought in some classic models, because we were getting like supercar after supercar after supercar, and we weren't really getting any old cars, were we? So that's something I hope they continue, not only in the supercar thing, but as they've done with the Sentinel, bring in some classic variants of other cars. For example, the Beetle. I know there's already a Baja Beetle, but something like a proper Herbie, normal looking Beetle, get the original Mini and stuff like that. Them sorts of cars, that'd be great. Righty then, so we're in the top 4 right now, and kicking off with one of the cars which has spawned one of my greatest videos in the past couple of months in terms of you guys' support and just the overall fun that I had in it. It is the Vapid Reata, aka the new Ford Bronco concept. Now, I have to say, this thing is essentially a baby Sand King. It can do essentially anything that car can do, but in a smaller, more nimbler package. Well, obviously it's a big SUV, so it isn't really that nimble, but compared to the Sand King, this thing is like a freaking aerial atom. It's bloody mental, but it's a great car, this thing, and it's a lot of fun to drive around, especially going off-road. It's supremely capable no matter what you throw at it. You've seen in the video that I done. If you haven't seen it, I'll leave a link in the description, but we took it up Mount Chiliad's cousin, like I want to call it that, like the one to the left of Mount Chiliad, and it absolutely dominated, going up and down, and took it on, I think it went through the dunes and everything like that, and up the mountains and everything near Los Santos and stuff. It was just great for that. But in terms of the design of this thing, I think that's where Rockstar got it right, because the new Ford Bronco, if it does stick to the concept, then I believe that's going to be one of the best looking SUVs out there, because we've not really got many of those classic style, classic boxy style ones anymore, do we? People are going for more flare and curvy cars now and stuff like that, but Ford is kind of like sticking to like the old school ways with like the Raptor. That's kind of squarish looking, but this is essentially a box, which is awesome. So that is the Vapid Reata at number 4. Now at number 3, as you can see right here, has to be my biggest surprise of this year. The Overflood Torch, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I cannot pronounce this car's name, but it is based on the Glickenhaus SCG, and there's also a bit of Radical mixed in there as well, and also a little bit of the McLaren Senna with the wing that I put on there as well. Now, I immediately thought to myself when I seen this thing in the trailer, oh, this is just going to be like the Tyrus, or it's just going to be like some other race cars which have been brought into the game. But my god, was I wrong, seriously. As I said in the video, don't judge a book by its cover, and I drove the thing, and it is probably the car that I have driven most out of the whole cars that have been released so far for the Doomsday Heist DLC. It just urges you on to drive it, and drive it, and drive it, because the performance in it is mind-boggling. The steering is so quick. It's possibly my favourite handling car in the game. That's how far I'm going with this thing. I know it's at number 3, so you might be thinking, what could possibly come at 2 and 1? We'll find out in a wee minute. But as I said, the noise is unlike anything else in this game as well. I mean, you could argue that maybe the Tyrus is a similar noise, but I think this sounds a little bit more raw and a little bit more, yet again, V10-y, more like a freaking tiger howling, man. It sounds really, really cool. But the looks overall as well, some could argue that the spoiler doesn't really look good on it, but as you all know, I'm not normally a big fan of massive spoilers, so it was a big decision putting the spoiler on this car, because I only fit spoilers onto a car which I think actually suits it. And since this thing is essentially a race car for the road, this thing bloody suits it well. So that was the Glickenhaus, or the Overflood Attach the How, I don't know, at number 3, the biggest surprise of the year. So prepare yourself, guys, for a massive, massive shock. I am not going to go cliche like everyone else, which I'm pretty sure is going to have this car at the top. Number 2 is the Imponte Deluxo, aka the DeLorean DMC12. Yep, before you start typing your mad comments, I will explain why I have put this thing at number 2 when we get to number 1, because you'll see why I like that car better. But this thing, I'm sure it was on every single person's list to come into this game, and when we thought it would come into the game, I thought it was honestly just going to be like a normal DeLorean, which you can't fly. But they went full Back to the Future mode. They went absolute batshit insane and just gave us essentially the dream car for GTA. It's got rockets, it's got guns, even though I personally don't use them a lot. I thought it was quite cool just shoving guns and rockets on a DeLorean. But yeah, it looks almost bang on for what a DeLorean should look like. I mean, I'm surprised they don't get freaking copyright claimed or in a freaking court case or something like that, because they are pushing it. They are really, really pushing it. But the interior, as you can see, is really, really old school, like the proper 70s and 80s style, man. It's awesome, 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 this thing. And you can even go on the water. It hovers over the water, which is bloody cool as well, man. That's essentially the thing that sums up this car, the word cool, because anytime any one of you guys have come into it with me driving around, you've left us messages saying, oh, this car's so cool, oh, I want to get one myself, and that. It is a bit expensive, but unlike some of the other cars that cost like 3 million stuff, it is heavily worth it. I said the same about the kit car, I think it was last year, but this thing is even better. It is even better. So save up them dollars in the games, guys, and get the DeLorean. You're missing out on a hell of a ride here. But anyway, if you follow this channel for quite a long time, you will know that I am a massive, massive Jaguar fanboy. So the reason why the DeLorean is not at number 1 is because the XA21 is the Ocelot XA21, aka the Jaguar CX75, which in real life is my favourite super/hypercar of all time, because it's just gorgeous from the front to the side to the back to the retractable wing. I could go on about this thing for days, but probably the biggest highlight, as I'm sure you know what I'm going to say, is the noise. It sounds like nothing else in GTA, whereas the Autarch sounds familiar to some things, but it does have a great noise. This sounds like nothing out there. It's properly growly. It almost sounds like a like a muscle car, man, even though it's a supercar. Now, the CX75 in real life apparently has, I think it's an inline 4 engine. I might be wrong, but that's what I've heard. but the concepts and everything had like, I think it was a jet engine or something, like a turbine and stuff. It's just a shame that Jag didn't put it into production, which I'm very, very gutted about, but I'm happy to see that it is in this game. It's obviously got like the signature looks of that car. The interior stands out like nothing else. I believe it's the same interior which was on the Trofade Nero, which is the Chiron in this game, and it looks absolutely mint in this white colour right here. And the rims are really, really cool. They have like the blue center lock as well. Really, really cool, unique style of rims on this car. The only thing that I could say to improve is the front lights. I wish there were a wee bit more to the actual CX75 in real life, because they kind of look kind of weird split up like that. But yeah, that is my number one car, guys. I was going to call it CX75, well essentially it is, but the X821. I know a few people might be a wee bit mad, but yet again, this is my perspective. But feel free to let me know your top 10 in the comments section below, and hopefully you enjoyed this video, a little bit more of a kickback one in terms of top 10s. I know I do kickback videos anyway, and if this is your first video, then why don't you check out my other ones and consider subscribing, because this is what I like to do, talk about cars, talk about stuff that's been going on and everything. So if you want like a chilled out place to watch and everything, or a chilled out place to be in terms of community and the video, then go ahead and subscribe, guys. So as I said, let me know yours in the comment section below. The Jag is definitely a worthy winner. I know a few people might be a wee bit pissed, as I said, about the DeLorean not getting the top, but my list, it is my list. So let's hope that 2018 brings us some great cars for GTA 5. Don't know how many more DLCs we're going to get, because obviously Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming out very, very soon. I believe in autumn of this year. But it's going to take a lot for them to top the Doomsday Heist DLC. We're still getting cars coming out at the moment, which I sadly couldn't include because they didn't release in 2017. I'm really looking forward to see what the GT2 RS, or the new Comet, is going to be like. We've obviously got like a 280Z clone in the game as well, some other cars as well, like the Mission E Porsche, that's coming in. So yeah, let me know what your top 10 is, and also what car you're looking forward to, which is still to be released from the Doomsday Heist DLC. But thank you very much for watching, guys, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye bye.